Hello, welcome to the Union Pacific Railroad Geneva Subdivision. My name is Daryl Cruz, owner and builder of the layout, and your host for episode 3 of season 2020. This is a complete layout overview, which I haven't done in quite some time. So I thought this would be a good time slot for us to do a complete overview from one end of the layout to the other to see where things stand as of February. And we will start here in River Forest, which is the easternmost part of the layout. This is just outside of the east staging yards, which represents areas in Chicago. We just saw a metro train come to a stop here at the metro station. This is an area that I most recently worked on. There is a layout update specifically on this area if you want to check that out on my channel. Right now, though, we see a stack train going through as the metro train came to a stop. And it is heading westbound, and this is a train we'll be following across the layout as we do a complete layout overview. From River Forest, we go through a little bit of forest preserves and then cross the Des Plaines River, heading into Maywood. This bridge is pretty well complete except for some railings that need to be installed. So up to this point, the layout's in a pretty completed state, but then we get to Maywood, which is not anywhere close to being complete. We'll need to add the metro station there, as well as a lot of businesses and storefronts, roads, and things of that nature. From Maywood, we go across some generic Midwestern urban areas with some factories, some new buildings mixed with old buildings. Here is an older building. That's a Walther's kit, I believe, that I just kind of placed there along quite a while ago, and that needs some additional work to bring it to a more completed state. Then from that generic Midwestern urban area, we head into Proviso, which is modeled, of course, along the Proviso yard in the western suburbs of Chicago. So there you can see the classification tracks in Proviso, as well as some warehouses. There's a little bit of detail work that needs to be added here, but this is pretty far along completion wise. Here our stack train is meeting a manifest train heading eastbound. The tower there is modeled specifically after the tower in Proviso, or I should say at the Proviso yard. Those two warehouses were also modeled after specific warehouses in Proviso. And here we have the engine facilities in Proviso. That structure there was also built following the prototype in Proviso. And the staging yard there isn't really prototypical. I don't think there's anything like that, especially since it's mainly used to hold excursion trains. There's still a little work here to do on the backdrop, as well as also some more details to add, but the engine facilities looks pretty good at this point. From Proviso, we continue westward into Elmhurst. This is another area that is pretty far along. Did a lot of work as far as the roads and buildings, but still a lot of details needed to be added. Now you may be wondering why this crossing does not have any crossing arms or lights on this side. This particular road is a one-way coming towards us. The other crossing down a ways from this crossing in Elmhurst is also a one-way going the other way. So you have the crossing arms on both sides of the road and on the other side of the tracks, but then nothing on this side. Some of the things that need to be done here is I want to completely redo the backdrop. I just have some Walther's backdrop printings there that don't look very well, or don't look very good. So I'm going to be redoing the backdrop, putting some pictures where the roads ends, and a lot of work, detail work done on the storefronts too. Some of the buildings are not complete. Here's a very empty looking area that I have some plans for. This is going to be a warehouse district with a siding for dropping off boxcars and reefers and so forth at the warehouses. So it's going to be a pretty major warehouse area. There are two sidings here. Right now there's this siding that's right there in front of you, which will be some kind of industry. And then in the background there you can see another siding. I'm going to take that siding out. And so there'll still be two industries here, but it'll be, one of the industries will be here where I'm going to put a warehouse district. I have, as you can see, I do have one warehouse there. That's a Walther's kits. I have a couple more of those kits that I'm going to add, plus a fourth one that's a bigger structure. This is the industrial siding I'm going to take out. I just don't like the way the track work is done here. It's not prototypical at all. It just doesn't look right. And so that's going to be gone. All right, from Wheaton, which we just talked about, we skip a big chunk of the Geneva subdivision and head out further west and cross the Rock River, and then head into Rochelle. So there's a lot of unmodeled portion of the Geneva subdivision between Wheaton and Rochelle. Right now my concentration of work is going to be on Rochelle, and at some point I'll get to this easternmost part of Rochelle, which is an industrial district, and some of the little seedier, older parts of town. This will also, on the other side of the tracks here, will be kind of the downtown area of Rochelle. This is where I'm working right now. I just put in these roads, and we'll be working on that some more. They look pretty fresh right now. I'm going to be doing a how-to video on these roads a little bit later as I continue work. And then now we're crossing the BNSF UP crossing and heading into the western part of Rochelle. This is an area that I've worked quite a bit on and a few months ago with roads and the crossing, trees. Still need to do a little work on the roads. I want to put cracks into the roads and also do a little bit more weathering on the roads, but right now it looks pretty good. I probably, when I get all the roads done, I might go back and do cracks on all the roads and weather it all at one time, kind of see how it goes. Now we're on the very western outskirts of Rochelle, and there is a bit of cornfield area on the prototype between Rochelle proper and then just west of Rochelle, the Global 3 facilities. Now this is technically still part of Rochelle. When they put in Global 3 west of Rochelle, the city of Rochelle annexed the Global 3 facility. So there's a annexation that kind of goes out from Rochelle and encompasses Global 3. So this is still technically part of Rochelle City proper. And the main thing I need to do here is weathering of the pavement, putting in cracks and weathering, but for the most part this is at a pretty completed state. Worked on this before Christmas back in the fall. Pretty happy with the way this has turned out. I think it does a good job of representing intermodal facilities and specifically the Global 3 facilities of Rochelle. Did a lot of concrete barriers here in Rochelle. Really happy with the way these check-in and check-out booths came out. Those are completely scratch built. As I said, I still need to do some weathering of the pavement and weathering of the concrete barriers. From Rochelle, then, we come into Franklin Grove. Mainly need to put some roads in here and do some work on the neighborhood. That shouldn't take too much time once I get to it. And then this grain silo here needs some work done around the area, putting in some work on the backdrop as well as some additional buildings and pavement and so forth around that facilities. And of course the farm there needs some work on putting in roads and additional details on the farm. Now if you notice, we're slowing down because we're going to come in across the Mississippi River. So there's a speed restriction. So even though there's a green light there, that just knocked down the red. So it has a clearance to go through, but there is a speed restriction on the Mississippi River. I'm not sure what it is on the prototype. I think for operational purposes, I'm going to have it at 15 to 20 miles per hour. So if it's a green light, you can go up to 20 miles an hour. And then if it's yellow, it would be reduced down to like 10 miles per hour. So we cross the Mississippi River and head into Clinton. Clinton needs a lot of work. That space right there is going to be the Archer Daniels Midland facility in Clinton. And if you look at the prototype, it's huge. It's just massive. So I won't be able to do the whole thing, obviously, but we'll try to put some grain storage facilities and other buildings there to represent the Archer Daniels Midland facilities in Clinton to bring this up to a completed state. So that's the entire layout from east to west. West of Clinton, you have then the west staging yards, which of course connect to the east staging yard. So there is a provision for continuous rutting as we watch the stack train head through Clinton and into the west staging yard. So this is how the layout stands as of February 11th, 2020. Please stay tuned to this channel as I continue to do updates and operations videos, product reviews, and so forth. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe. I hope you have enjoyed watching this video. Make sure you enjoy the greatest hobby of all, model trains, especially in N scale. Have a great day. Take care.